Hello beautifuls, welcome back to my Chanel and welcome to the first video of 2025.
God, how awful.
Recently in this series, here on the Chanel Unhinged Makeup TikTok Video Beauty Fail Hack Tip Tricks, now focusing a little bit on a contemporary scandal within the celebrity makeup sphere, shall we say. Doesn't necessarily have to be a scandal either, it just has to be a moment. And with that, my loves, I must say we need to talk about Cynthia
Erivo.
So with that, my lovelies, make sure you're sitting comfortably. Grab yourself a beverage. Oh, today I'm on Coke Zero. Shocking, I know. Scandal girls. Pop your little Ochanger right into your TikTok hole, which may in fact be being banned, within the month. I wonder what's going to happen next. Because it's difficult to know whether this ban is going to actually be good for the people or just for the vested interest in controlling the narrative of free, fast-flowing information. And with that, my lovelies, let's start. If you want to follow me over on TikTok, it is XXLuxeria. Make sure you tag me in any unhinged makeup videos you see over there. Oh, okay, so I think I know what this is going to be, but let's watch, shall we, my loves? Let's watch.
I didn't understand the first sentence.
I've seen this week people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that.
We're holding
and
space.
Feeling power in that.
We are.
And then I definitely didn't understand what was happening, how you responded. I was like, oh, what did she say?
The
What did
fashion.
you hear?
The fashion is fashioning
and
of these
I
witches.
just wanted to be there because I knew something big was happening. And I didn't know how to be there.
I didn't know that was happening.
I just want to say, interrupting completely here the narrative, isn't it fascinating to know that we watched these two celebrities who seem to have gone through something on the set of Wicked, whether that is from experiencing a huge amount of pressure and work scheduling regarding the filming of this movie, but also that we have seen them react in a way that they feel like they are meant to without really understanding what's going on.
Relatable.
I find it fascinating how sometimes in celebrity interviews, celebrities won't ask for information. They are expected to continue as if they already know what's going on. So that little interaction there of some people are holding space for these lyrics and she's really big in queer media. That question wasn't followed up with, how is this happening? Let us know more about this. I would have found it a little bit more of a humanist response to learn more about the situation. But that's just me. Let's continue.
But then after a while, I didn't know how to be there.
So
That's what I wanted.
no one had any idea what was going on. Yeah. And we're left with this
She said something
intense meme of finger
that
clutches.
meant something to her.
Then reeled it back.
It meant something totally different to you.
Yes.
And then she tried to kind of get somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing was, I remember in the moment asking myself, am I okay? Did I not hear something? And I was like, because she looks like she's about to cry again. And I'm going to grab this because I think you might need something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the tapping was about. But that
Tension.
That happened. Yeah, that happened. I was like, oh shit, something's happening.
She had said that she was seeing it because she was in queer media.
I am in queer media.
And I was like, I honestly didn't know
same.
what that meant. And
But that is an interesting fact, isn't it? We could have elucidated further and it could have been a magical learning experience for everyone involved. But then we wouldn't have the meme, would we?
and am I
I do love her
also
style.
Yeah.
It is
We are
eclectic
Work. Let's both do
lady
that.
on
It was
the go.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
I just am glad. I feel really relieved that the world had the same experience
Yeah.
with this moment that I did, because I felt like, oh, I'm not broken.
But I do love how the world has gone with it.
I felt so relieved.
It's fascinating. What a fascinating look into the bizarre world of celebrity there, because it seems like no one had any idea what was happening. Kind of reminds me a little bit of those Instagram interview boys who were interviewing people going to London Fashion Week, and they just made up designers and made up collections and were like,
Oh, what do you think about the latest of Shabubliana's?
and people were like, oh, I love Shabubliana's collections. Yes, she really speaks to me. And it's like, you could have just said, I've not heard. Can you share some of their work so that we can all embrace what's going on here? I don't know, sometimes I find it a little bit bizarre, shall we say? A little bit bizarre behaviour. But then again, these are theatre kids and they are actors. And this is kind of like what their bread and butter is to kind of make us believe something. So when I first saw that meme, I fully kind of was led to believe that they understood what was happening And I was the one who was like, what is happening here? Am I meant to be holding space? Am I holding space for TikTok?
Don't bother.
Let's move on to the next one, shall we? So in an interesting turn of events, I've only been able to find Wicked's Cynthia Erivo. Did I say Eviro?
She is awful.
Earlier. I did, didn't I? I swear my reading comprehension is dwindling the older I get. All of the TikToks about her Vogue interview where she does skincare and makeup were so choppy on TikTok that I actually cheated a little bit and I've jumped over to YouTube. Don't hate me, girls. But let's watch Cynthia Erivo on skincare and all brown makeup routine. Courtesy of Vogue. Beauty Secrets, go, yes.
Hello, my name is Cynthia, and I'm going to be walking you through my
Just
very extensive.
Just want to say, this was filmed 3 years ago. Doesn't she look different compared to the, should we say, she's much more defined and angular now. And I'm going to leave it there. No conspiracy theories in the comments, though. Although I wouldn't mind if you left perhaps one or two. I have some nighttime reading.
And my makeup look today is going to be called All Browns, and you'll see why.
Is it because it's
First
all
step,
brown? Spoiler alert!
cleanser.
What do we have
Always.
here? What's this? A gel cleanser, yes. Cleansing
I
to
have
start. Great way.
combination skin, and it really depends on the time of the month, to be honest.
Yes. That is, in fact, relatable. The closer to my
I
estrogen
also
gap,
use
the more chaotic my
exfoliator
skin is.
afterwards. This one's by Sanita. It's a lemon cream scrub.
Lemon?
It's
Lemon
kind
on
of
the
like a
face?
pudding for your face. Is that a thing?
Lemon. She has lovely skin. Lovely skin. So we've done a cleanser and then an exfoliator. Okay.
This is Bioderma. It's like an old school toner that a lot of people use, but I love it because it you can use it after makeup as well, but you can use it after washing your face, and it cleans anything extra. You don't need very much, just a little bit. These also are the only cotton pads I use. They're Shiseido. They're the best. It's like putting silk on your skin.
Glam. Shiseido. Oh. Shiseido cotton pads. How the wealthy do live.
Take it off, so your skin gets a lot of wear and tear. It's like a calming toner.
Do you want to say we're kind of using a lot of products here that kind of seem like they all do very similar things? I wonder if perhaps just slightly more time taken with one of the steps might replace a few of the steps. But let's continue.
And you're thinking, why does she have so much to do for her
Yes.
face? And does she have that much time in the world? I don't, I make it. But the reason why I have so much to do is because I was on a film a while ago, and somehow, I don't know what I did, it's like I used the wrong products on my skin and ended up giving myself like a minor skin burn. And I remember thinking, what am I gonna do? And I spotted this incredible person online. She said, just use Cetaphil and Aquaphor. That was the only thing I could use on my skin. And then after that, she said to reintroduce things that would hydrate my skin and take care of it from the inside out. And so that's what I started doing. I started sort of discovering what works, what didn't work. And it's
I find it interesting that she didn't go to a dermatologist, but nevertheless.
changed over time, as you do, because you're supposed to just change the things you use so your face doesn't get too used to everything.
I agree.
And I'm opening up a skin mask now by Talika. It's anti-aging. It's not that I think I'm getting older.
Are we doing
it's
all
just
of
that
this
has
before
everything.
makeup? Interesting. An interesting methodology. If it
You know,
works,
honestly,
it
sometimes
works.
I get asked,
I
how
don't
do I
think I
function
would.
with nails? The question is, how would I function without them, to be honest?
They are quite nails, aren't they? Oh, I love the design. Yes! Right. A face roller. We're getting very Vogue in here. Oh, she does have lovely skin though, so...
This
yes.
is the new face.
Okay.
It's like a microcurrent. It comes with like a hydrating serum.
I feel like this is a lot to then be putting on makeup and just removing all of this later. All of this beneficial skincare later. Is it wasteful? Is it wasteful? Is it wasteful? I don't know. Leave it in the comments below. Am I too low? I feel like I've only just recently reset up my studio and I feel like I'm like, hello girls. Microcurrent time. So yeah, so we're going to electrocute the face.
This is a vitamin
Microcurrents
C.
of what though?
Urban Skin RX. Really, really amazing. And specifically made for darker skin tones.
Okay.
Like mine. I usually just do about that much.
Ooh, this looks very hydrating. A vitamin C serum. There we go. So we've got our first serum.
And last thing, the Hydra by Drunk Elephant. Goes a long,
another
long
serum.
way.
Stacking serums under
Skincare
makeup.
and
I guess
and
it
the
can
love of
be.
it and the routine sort of came a lot later for me, maybe when I was like in my late 20s, to be honest.
Right.
Let me just tap it in.
I just feel like there's a lot of products to then have to put makeup on top of.
We're gonna do a look that I call all browns. And
WhatsApp.
I start with my foundation.
Okay, what
which
do we have?
is Dior.
Oh.
And I mix them because I have a weird sort of undertone, which is like a gold, orange, yellow thing.
Oh, into a shell bowl. Beautiful.
That's pretty close.
Okay, I am going to say mixing your foundation is an excellent tip in order to actually get your skin tone. I do this. Most of the makeup artists that I know in real life do this. It's very rare that you are able to actually pick a product off of a shelf and go, this is the absolute best makeup color match for me. Dior's foundations and products I've never fallen in love with them. I'm just going to put that there. I do like the packaging. Obviously, it does feel very lovely to be like, oh, I'm wearing the Dior. It does make you feel a certain way. And I feel like a lot of beauty is how something makes you feel. I, for example, have a Dior eyelash curler. And every time I use it, I am like, yes, I am the moment. Just gonna interject here, my lovelies. If you do not know me, my name is Luxeria, and I have been a makeup artist for 17 years. Can you believe it? Nearly 2 decades. Frighteningly upsetting. I also have a biochemistry degree because I have a fundamental interest in the way things work. And that does come in handy when trying to understand how skincare and makeup interact with us. Back to the show.
That's pretty close.
That is a pretty close match. That is obviously the issue with mixing foundations, is that every time you might get a slight variation.
The beauty industry really didn't have very much for darker skin tones, and over the years I've been lucky enough to watch as that changed. So we're starting to see more brands and the range of skin tones is sort of opening up, which is really
Yes,
lovely. But I've definitely experienced some interesting moments when I've been
I'm
on
going
a
to say,
set
I do think that perhaps,
or
that's a little bit more flattering, perhaps the mix is a little bit on the red side, perhaps. I feel like the deeper tone in the Dior is a little bit on the red side. But we'll see what she does next.
I remember I was doing this like charity gala thing, and
Charity gala?
we had to be made up. And when I went to sit at this makeup artist's table, she said I didn't need any makeup, and I asked her if she had my shades. And she had to admit that she didn't bring any of my shades at all. She didn't bring any shades for darker skin tones at all. She had...
This is such an embarrassment to makeup artists internationally to not cater to every single skin tone. As a makeup artist who's working like in film, TV, events, you should be able to do that. Like that's one of the bare minimum things you can do. Even back in the day of like the, let's say early 2000s, that's when I first started paying attention to makeup. MAC Cosmetics was one of the high street stores that catered to a wider range of skin tones. When I first started shopping at MAC, they didn't match my fair skin. I couldn't find a match there because the lightest shade that they had in the high street range was NC15, and that was not like a pale British skin tone in the slightest. But the range of tones they had, in combination with their pro range, which did go lighter, was phenomenal for that day and age. And I will say I do hold MAC in like quite high regard for that very reason alone. And I'm so glad that nowadays people are able to find much more representation within their skin tone lines. And half the time it boils down to just being considered. I feel like that's a really important thing, like just being considered.
For darker skin tones
That's
at
shocking
all.
to me.
She had
Not
only
unheard of,
skin
but
tone or shades for lighter skin tones. And I just remember feeling really sort of forgotten about. It was a really big event. So essentially I did my makeup by myself. And that's never a fun thing to have to like deal with. This is
No,
just...
if you choose to do your glam yourself in a professional setting, I quite understand that. If you are forced to because nobody is available to do it or willing to do it, that's where an issue is, realistically. And I sort of hate when these companies are like, well, we don't know about formulating darker skin tones, deeper shades. We just don't. It's not hard. There may be slight formulation shifts with the amount of pigment that you have to use, mainly when it comes to adding paler skin tones into a line, because Titanium dioxide, which is often the sort of lighter, whiter pigment you see in foundations, can be a little bit difficult to work with. Other iron oxides, not so much. So if anything, you're actively making a decision to exclude people under the guise of it's harder when it isn't at all.
This is just a NARS, concealer.
I personally hate this concealer. I think it's far too
And it took me a
glowy, sheer, goopy goo goo.
Start trusting that people would have my makeup with them. So I would always bring everything with me.
That's
just in
wild
case.
to feel like you have
like
to
a
do that.
finish powder.
Okay.
I always like to put this on because it sort of brings everything together before I put on any of
Yes, it's a mineralized
the
skin finish.
contouring powders.
It's gonna
I don't
give you a-
necessarily contour that much. I just sort of enhance.
Yes. I actually find it interesting that she said she doesn't like to contour very much. So contouring and highlighting kind of came on the scene for like the majority, I would say like the beauty space at large, so like consumer beauty. From around about 2014 onwards, I would say a lot of people don't actually need full highlight, contour, like routine. You just don't need it. If you've already got cheekbones, the point of contouring is to either emphasize those cheekbones more or to give you cheekbones where there is lacking, shall we say. But I quite often see, and this is very typical of like British culture, I will say, of like everyone is so heavily bronzed and heavily contoured that I'm a little bit like, you would look more effective and more impactful if it was just dialed back ever so slightly. But then again, I'm also like, if it makes you happy, do it, my love. Yeah.
When I do my makeup, I don't really want to look like I'm wearing that mug. It's sort of like, I wake up like this. This is how I look. every single
Okay,
day.
interesting. You've worn a full coverage foundation for this,
It's
though.
like a bronzer, but it's an everything. And so I use it for my eyes and for my cheeks.
Great idea. Love a multi-use product. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
all good
Kind of
things
like
together.
a bit of a burnt sienna kind of tone.
It still feels really bold, but essentially all I'm doing is using the different shades of brown to bring everything out.
I will say, I don't feel like this is a very, what's the word? Like a very get up and go look, filled with Dior and shimmer. She just said, I like to look like I'm not wearing anything. We're getting into the realm now that I would be like, I love your makeup because it's starting to get into the realm of showgirl makeup, which is where I am and where I live. I do feel like that's quite a large brush, but I suppose if you want to do like one brush
This
and
one,
done,
yeah.
then that's fine.
And sometimes I'll push into the nose. That sort of brings everything out, which I really like.
Oh, I'm not sure. To do that with
The
a
one thing I've
cold
learned
tone.
is that anyone who is creative is always at their best when they're allowed to do what they want to do. I think any kind of artistic expression
Please
is
blend
a
that a little
form
bit more.
of play for me. It's a way for me to tell you the type of person I am, tell you who I am. Just going back to this,
I agree. I think that's a very
I
important
kinda
part, is to
enjoy,
remain creative.
playing with all of that. I like to highlight my eyes. They're big eyes, so I go for them. It's lashes, it's
I quite like her, but this little tiny part here is bothering me. This little piece here. Bother, mummy Luxie.
It's lashes, it's eyeliner, it's the whole lot.
If you just used a bit of bronzer,
I like
bit
the
of
shape of my
contour,
lips, so I
just go
go for my lips, lip liner, the bright lips and stuff like lip color. And then I always will try and bring out my cheekbones because they're a nice set of cheekbones. So I
They are.
bring them out.
You have
Wherever
lovely
you can
features.
enhance and show, that's what I do. This is not necessarily an eyeliner.
What's this?
This is a lip liner. But it's a really cool color.
Is it chestnut?
So it's sort of
Chestnut.
like a reddish brown.
Chestnut by MAC,
So I
an
use this.
iconic colour. Little bit of eyeliner. Is chestnut safe for the eyes? Actually,
Dior.
can't remember. Dior, girl.
This is Boy Brow by Glossier. And it's
Gluciage.
blonde.
Blonde.
I
gel.
dyed my brows.
Oh, I'm just going to say something about this shimmer. She seems really lovely, and I feel like I'm being really naughty by being like, do you know what? If I was to do this makeup, recreate this makeup, how would I make it more impactful for her features? This down here, this shimmer down here in the lower eye socket, if you like. Shimmer on the socket line isn't usually very flattering, shall we say. Under flash photography, it makes your eyes appear hollow. And under harsh lighting, the same sort of thing. A way that she could have achieved a similar idea, but have it a bit more flattering for her eye shape would have been to use a smaller brush in the shimmer application, something a little bit more precise. That's neither here nor there. She's happy with it. She's happy with it. She's happy with it. I will say though, when she says all brown, that shimmer is not brown.
I dyed my brows because
I love what she's
my
done with her
sister
liner
suggested
though.
it.
Very flattering.
I went blonde a while ago. The first time I did it, I went sort of skin tone, and that was I think for the Met. One of the Met.
The Met
galas.
Gala, girl. The gala at the Met.
And then I just was like, let's just try it. Let's just go blonde if we need to.
She's
What
got
have I
more
got
of
to
a
lose?
contour from the
And I
eyeshadow
felt
on
really
one
good
side
about
than
it.
the other.
I think people should be less cautious about
Experimenting?
their brows. I mean, they're part of your expression, but why not have fun?
I agree.
I think I approach most things as a you only live once kind of thing. So, yes, I'm using this.
Of course, Dior. Dior mascara.
I think
she's
wherever
got
we
lovely
can, we should play. I
lashes.
think it's why, I have piercings and my hair's blonde and I do
Piercing
my eyebrows. Because I want to see. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see whether it works. If it doesn't, it'll grow again. It's never really the end of the world,
I agree. I totally agree.
I start with this and end with this.
Oh, more MAC. What's this? Are these... Oh, I don't like
When
blowing
I'm
on the brush.
getting into-
Although if they're your brushes, fine. But as a makeup artist, if I ever see another makeup artist blowing on brushes, my brain goes, pink eye.
She's dead.
Little bit of contour.
When I'm getting into character, it's like watching the makeup go on, and then once the costume and the makeup is together, it feels like that transformation is complete. When I played a character called Holly Gibney in a series called The Outsider, and her look was very much like all muted brows. Once those things were all together, it felt like she appeared, she came back.
Yeah, the transformation of the aspect is so important
And you can tell
for
if I
feeling a
use this
different way.
palette a lot.
When you look nice, you feel nice. And I guess that also extends to when you're a movie star. If you look like the character, you feel like the character. That is an interesting brush. What is that?
And the last thing we're gonna do.
Double-ended girl.
I have 2 chestnut pencils.
Two
one
chestnut.
for the eye, one for the lip.
Oh, good idea. Keep it sanitary.
And I try
She's
to
got
choose colours
such
that
a good lip shape.
feel like they just enhance them there. And obviously when I smile, you see this big gap here. And I've had people ask me to close it before, but I realized that part of my character, part of who I am, and part of the way you see me when I smile is in that gap.
Yes, absolutely.
And there are so many people with a gap, and there are so many young girls who have been told they should change it because it doesn't look
Very
great on me. But
America's
actually,
Next
I
Top
think
Model.
a smile that has a gap in it already is perfect. I wouldn't change it.
I agree.
So I have never wanted to change it. I never will change it.
Good.
And I don't shy away from people looking at my mouth. So if you have a gap out there, enjoy it. It literally is the brownest of browns. And I use different colours all at once, so I'll do this first.
What is this? What is this lipstick? What tone? What tone is that? Obviously MAC, but what? What?
Matte again. And that's more matte. And it probably won't get very matte because the lip I put on was satin finish.
Is that a tinted lip gloss?
Sometimes
I'll
I'll tap in the
retro
middle with
matte.
something that's
No?
lighter. It's Lady Be Good.
Lady Be Good. It's not a lip gloss. It's a matte lipstick. Whoever did
It's like
the captions
subtlest
is a liar.
difference. Do we want to use a gloss?
I think Lady Be Good has actually been
I mean, we're here.
Cancelled.
We might as well. Glossy has a really cool one.
a
It's
little
just
gloss.
and it's
Yes.
clear.
See, she's now the captions of this Vogue incorrect because she's now putting a gloss on, and you don't put it over 3 other lip glosses.
Nothing yet.
There, this is the gloss. Okay, that is quite nice. A little wet look, wet shine. Oh, she's done. That's it, girly
Thank you
wig.
for hanging out with me today. It meant a lot. And I hope you enjoy this. And I hope you get a couple of your own little hints and tricks and tips that can work with you.
I think that was actually quite heartwarming. A little bit of an insight into Cynthia's personal life and how she thinks and how she approaches glam, with some of the difficulties of working on sets where she hasn't been catered to. I loved that little storyline. I am going to say, though, I do feel like this look could have been a little bit more harmonious with her features, with just a little shift in the size of brushes used. But aside from that, it's quite a lovely little makeup look. Right, my lovelies, let's head straight back to TikTok and see what is next. Okay. Right, so we have a lady here, very large, voluptuous, bulbous lips, stitch incoming, using my gua sha to push my migrated filler back into my lips. Okay. You cannot massage migrated filler back into place. I'm sorry. They hate me for I speak the truth. I feel like we're about to hit the filler part of the video, which seems to happen in every video, so let's go. Oh, Jesus.
You know what? I'm not even gonna hate on her because
Who
a
is
lot
this
of people
lady? Hello.
that have migrated lip filler don't even know they have migrated lip filler
No.
and refuse to believe it.
No.
But I will tell you this, that is definitely not going to work.
Exactly.
Once you've gone through lip filler migration or have had overfilled lips, it unfortunately destroys the natural anatomy of the lips where it doesn't hold in filler as good as it used to.
I wouldn't say destroyed. Destroyed is a very strong word. It's not like it's irreparable. Although I will say we are starting to see the impact of an industry that says you need to get filled every 6 months.
I'm a slut, Doug.
Oh, filled every 6 months, girl. You don't. You absolutely don't. In total, in my lips, I have about 3 mil of filler. Now, I'm sitting comfortably at 3 mil. And I could go a few years without getting them topped up, to be honest. The body does process hyaluronic acid. It does. It takes a lot longer than 6 months. So when you hear and see people say things like, I have to get filler constantly every 6 months, that to me says what's being injected is filler that is breaking its viscosity in an unreasonably fast amount of time. Filler should stay where it's put, but only if it's good quality filler that isn't going to change. Not break down, change. I am actually of the opinion that filler needs years to break down and definitely not months. But let's continue.
So the only way to resolve this issue is by dissolving everything.
Yes.
Only if a dissolvable filler was used and
Yes.
then re-injecting it to make it look a lot more natural.
Yes.
I do a lot of corrective work. Dissolver is an amazing drug. I don't know where I would be without it.
Well, yes, no, I agree. I have, in fact, used lip filler dissolver, or rather, I've had my lip filler dissolved before. And that was because I was botched a little bit a while ago. I was botched with a bulbous, area, if you like a bump in my lip filler. And I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. How very dare you? But after dissolver and then taking years to rebuild them to this level, I'm so happy with where my lips are now. And I will never veer away from this current lip shape because I'm really happy with this. And I think this is one of the hardest parts to reconcile when it comes to getting treatments or injectable procedures like this. You have to know when the end point is. And by saying that, you also kind of have to have a conversation with yourself and understand what is too far and what is actually realistic. What is a realistic goal that you can have? A great practitioner will sit you down and say, I'm sorry, sis, that is an insane request. We're not doing that.
Mary has had surgery on her vagina to gain what she calls the fattest vagina in the world.
And you can bend the rules ever so slightly when it comes to beauty things, but to break them entirely is never good.
Naughty mummy.
Oh God, right, okay, what's the next one? Show us a before. 18-year-old tattoo eyeliner that was done too saturated and migrated. Now I'm gonna say something very controversial here. Oh, we're getting into tattoo realm here. Just call me Roly Girl. I've been asked to do the rubber band challenge. I'm gonna say something here. There is something so enigmatic and alluring about having tattooed eyeliner. I don't know what it is. Like, if I could get a semi-permanent liner that would last, maybe 3 years at max, and I could trust the person doing it, I would, like this. I would have it like this, girl. I love an eyeliner, as you can see. And the idea of having something perhaps not quite as dramatic as this, but very, very soft with some matching brows that I could just wake up with and have gorgeous, wonderful. It's the fact that like a lot of semi-permanent makeup artistry work has a high regret rate that frightens me because I'd probably be in that camp. But let's watch. Right, this is what's this? Is this the before? After? What is the before? Is this the before? Oh, yes, blended. I don't understand. I don't understand what the point of this video was.
I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand.
Right, let me have a reading. Before I started the eyeliner removal process. So this was done after 6 saline removal sessions. And that is where I have the problem with semi-permanent makeup tattooing. Or, in fact, permanent tattooed makeup in this case, is that the removal is quite a procedure. I recently had my microblading removed, and luckily it was able to be done with laser, but that's because I only had one microblading session, and that could be removed via laser. It's still not 100% perfect, but I'm infinitely happy with where it is now. I do perhaps wonder if the trends are to kind of blame for this level of tattoo fanaticism, should we say. We've all seen that like older lady who perhaps gets on the bus and she has like thick, faded black lines where eyebrows used to be, and they were tattooed, let's say, in the 80s or the 90s or something. And of course, now to us, that looks very dated. That style looks very dated because thin, black lined eyebrows are not what we would consider like youthful or perhaps even trendy in this day and age.
What about a lovely V-neck cashmere jumper?
I think a lot of the issue with tattooed makeup is it isn't often done in like natural, neutral tones. I always feel like we see it in like jet black, faded, like smoky eyeshadow. I'm like, yes, but if you don't have anything else on, like if you don't have your full glam base on and you don't have your lashes on, it's going to look really out of place and a little bit too much. Whereas if you had just almost like a natural contoured shadow in a tone that complements your natural skin tone that isn't too outstanding, I feel like that just lends itself to looking more glamorous and more aesthetically pleasing. I'll leave it with you. Thoughts in the comments below, please.
Lady Gaga.
Die.
Oh, here we go, girls. What have we got here? Best liner tattoo.
Jesus was a bottom.
Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Okay, right. Are we ready? I can't believe that this is real. This cannot... Oh, no! Is that real or is she acting? No, she has to be acting. Surely this can't be real. No? Oh! I love it, girls. Surprise. Wait a minute. Wait a finger-licking minute. Isn't she the tattoo artist that put, like, someone's boyfriend's name on her client's forehead?
I don't understand. I'm a simple woman.
Do you remember that shenanigans scandal? Thank goodness for that. But you know what I am going to say? Is that I have seen videos of people who have facial tattoos and eyeliner that match this. And I can't help but think, please have more respect for yourself. Have more respect for your body. Have more respect for those around you. If you decide to have something so chaotic as this as a permanent modification on your body. Granted, if this was a mistake and she went to this person and they just gave her this without really thinking, then you can't really say like, oh, personal accountability is to blame here because they might have been duped into it. But this is obviously a fake video, but I have seen people with things like this and I just kind of go, oh dear.
It's what she would have wanted.
Oh, trying the viral lip stain as a blush. Oh, controversial, controversial. A lip stain as a blush, I mean, has been done previously, has been done before, even done it myself. Let's watch. Which viral lip stain is this, though?
I've been seeing everyone use this lip stain as a blush too, which I didn't know that you could do. We're gonna give it a try and see if it works.
Okay.
I have it in the shade Mauve. It looks like everyone just kind of puts it on a little splotchy wherever they would want their blush to be.
You have to work fast with a stain, but my goodness, this is a deep bit. Oh, is this going to perhaps look a little bit
sunburny? I'm just gonna let it dry for
sunburny?
like 10-ish minutes. It's been about 10 minutes, so
10
now it's time to
minutes?
see if it worked. I'm gonna try peeling it. Oh. And then everyone took a slightly damp paper towel just to get off the excess bits and sort of blend it in a little bit. Here's the final look.
No.
I love it. I was not expecting the color to be so subtle, but I think it's perfect.
I wouldn't say that colour is subtle. It's a little bit, my skin is a bit sensitive to something I've put on it. I will say, if you want to do something like this in using a lip stain to create like a blush that lasts all day, for example, always make sure you do blending. Blend out those harsh edges because they will stain, hence the name, a lip stain. Like it's going to stain your skin. And the more blending you put into the first initial stage, the better it will look on the out stage, I will say. But, you know, not a bad idea. I was a little bit panicked when I saw that the deep tone was here. I was a little bit like, oh no, here we go, girls. Here we go. We're ready for a scandal.
What is that? It's the end.
Oh, right, what do we have here? Okay, jelly blush stain test. Okay, a blush stain. And we're into the staining blush today. What an eclectic mix this video is being. Pov, that's not what this means, but okay. You made a jelly blush stain, hoping the stain isn't too much. Do you know? Do you know what I love? There's a part of my soul that will never forget this and never, or is always illuminated with love whenever I see this. This guy looks like a cosmetic chemist, I'm gonna say, a cosmetic chemist, especially if he's made a jelly blush. I love the idea of just seeing like regular guys and regular girls just in their like laboratories testing out the products they've made, and they've literally got like high beam blush on and like sparkly eyeshadow, and it's just, they're just running a test. Just running a test. I love it. The idea that somewhere on this planet there's like little cosmetic chemists that are like middle-aged guys just testing out the latest golden shimmer, and they're like, this is an eyeliner. So today at work I'm wearing an eyeliner just here to test it. Love that. Love that so much. My heart, she's warm. I've got a bucket of peace, sweetie. Oh no, please, please, woo. Okay, yeah, you test it. See, look how lovely. I love it. Just like, this guy's at work, scientist, but also like, blush? Do you know, isn't that lovely? I love science. And I absolutely love the idea that there are people out there just doing what they love and making really like cute content like this. Although this is only like a 20-second TikTok. That is so... I don't know, it just really softens my heart because it makes me realise it's not all doom and gloom and bleak and bloom, girls. Well, my lovelies, I think I'm going to call it a night there for the TikTok nonsense today. Let me know what your favourite TikTok was we saw from today in the comments box below, because you never know. Actually, it might be fully banned by the next time I go to make one of these. That bill that's being pushed through in America of the TikTok ban also has some very interesting clauses in it that kind of sound like they're banning VPNs at the same time, which makes me think it's not necessarily just about protecting US citizens against foreign interference. It kind of makes me feel a little bit like, is this multimedia companies protecting intellectual property to exploit the working class for more money? Is that maybe what's happening instead? Either way, my loves, let me know what you think about what we've seen in today's video. And it's time for the Patreons. You can see yourself scrolling past on the screen right here. Yes, you can. And I'm super happy to announce that we have a bunch of brand new Patreons who've joined, my lovelies. I want to say a massive thank you to Michael Milligan, Bonbon Bites, Danielle Wian, Tegan Sims, Ali Dell. You can call me Steel Nips. Helly, Riley Milan, LJ Briggs, Tony DeWild, Casey Small, Sarah Needham, Dylan Irving, Bunny, Maggie Pop, Alicia Towner, Andrea906, Irish Alchemy, Mark Andre Gosselin, Ali Little, Catherine, Lorga Magnuson, and Susie Searle. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon and providing some extra support here for the Chanel. Thank you guys so much. And as always, I want to say a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons: Orkos Samoji, Ariadia X, Asgardians, Becky Johnson, Cameron Pittman, Shell Herman, ContraPoints, Finn Dunham, James A. Zengirl, Jenny Wood, Leanne Jones, Lenore, Les Banana, Mo Sherman, Morgan Lathay, Ms. Kiss, Paolo Rivera, Sky Dorim, Steph Utek, and TNS Mum. And you know what, my loves? I'll see you in the next one.